Alrighty, listen, I have the pleasure of just going 30 minutes of fast fun with you, giving you an overview of our vacation ownership program. Listen, I know Hilton's a big global brand. You know that. I don't expect you to know this. We've had over 750,000 families come into rooms like this without ownerships, and they left with ownerships. What they found was value. You all gave us a little bit of your time to come and visit with us today. So my suggestion to you all is look for value. What we offer families fits some families amazingly well. It fits other families pretty well. It doesn't work for everybody. So your job is just to really evaluate this and see, because if it works for you, it's going to change your vacation life. I found that out 9 years ago myself, okay? Now, I will say this. When you're done with me, you're going to go back with your reps. Have fun. Just tell them what you want your future vacations to look like, just so you know our goal with every guest is not to change your budget. We're trying to take the money you're spending on travel without us, take it out of Google. You all realize everything you go shopping for in Google is affected by inflation, right? If you give your travel budget to us, take it out of inflation, you get more bang for your buck. That's why so many families have done this. And just keep that in mind. The only decision you have to make today is how you want to spend your travel money, because you're already traveling, you're here, which means you're already spending the money. So you can either do it the way you've been doing it, or you can do it through us. It's really all we're talking about today. I do have some empathy for you. I realize people travel for a lot of reasons, right? So something brought you to Williamsburg, and I'm willing to bet it wasn't this, right? This was on the list, but it wasn't the reason you came. So I get that. We even joke about what we call the conversation people like y'all have. If you're with somebody before you come in the building, it goes like this: babe, don't forget the game plan. Don't look them in the eyes. Don't laugh at their jokes. Act like you don't speak English. And I'm going to tell them we got to buy braces for our dog, right? That's the human version on sales presentations of a boxer. Boxers get in the ring. What do? Well, they put their guard up. And that's how we are. I did the same thing. I get it. I've done it, right? We're on guard. Just relax, have fun. And if this is going to work for you, great. If it's not, we'll part as friends either way. You all realize Hilton's a big old hospitality company. We had a funny thing happen. I think she was your guest. I don't remember. Back in February. So we had a lady in here. I walked in the room. It was Valentine's Day weekend, rooms packed. I come walking in. I don't get to know you all as well as the reps because I don't sit down one-on-one, right? So I come walking in, and there was a couple sitting here. The lady looked like Betty White, the actress. I come walking in, and she goes, "Sir?" I looked at her, and you all realize anything that's said, the tone matters, right? Her tone, here it was. She goes, "How long's this going to take?" And I said, "Well, man, they only give me a half hour. It's going to be fun." I said, "Why do you ask?" Now, to her credit, she cracked up the room. She goes, "Well, we went on one of these with another company, and it took so long," and she's pulling out her necklace. She goes, "It took so long, I was going to hit my life alert button and go to the hospital just to get out of there," right? I was like, "Put away your life alert. You're not going to need it here. We're a hospitality company." So all we're going to do today is talk about trying to help you have this, an elevated vacation experience. So is it fair to say that a whole lot of Americans get 2 weeks vacation from work each year? Is that fair? I don't know the number, but a lot of people do. So here's the math on that. Clearly, I'm still working. 2 weeks a year out of 52 weeks in a year, y'all, that's not even 4% of our year that we get to go do what we want. And that's not like a choice we made. That's the system we were born into, right? So even if you over time you get 3 or 4 weeks, well, 4 weeks, is not even 8%. So we get a little sliver of our life to go have fun. That's not the system we want. Imagine this. Is anybody here retired? Imagine working 40 years. And on day one of retirement, you're looking back at 40 years of the only life you get, probably the best 40 years your body had to go be super active. And you look back at 40 years and realize that of that time, you got 4, 5, 6% of 40 years, right? That's sad. So what we're saying to folks is this: when you take a trip, man, make it good, because most of our life is spent doing something else. Be these people. Here are our owners. They're uploading their photos to our hashtag. You and our current owners all have access to all 24 of Hilton's brands all around the world. Who here has passports? Great. Most Americans don't, so that's great. Yeah. All over the world, more properties than I have time to visit, I can tell you that. If there's a resort somewhere that we don't own, that our owners want to go to, it's probably in this group of almost 5,000 more. And does anybody here have a few nights of hotel per year that's not vacation? Chasing kids' events, work stuff? If you do, you can use our ownership to take those nights out of inflation as well. just by using the vacation ownership, right? And that brings me to my favorite subject, the dream trip. So we had a couple in here, it's been a couple months ago, and I asked the gentleman, I said, sir, what's your dream trip? He goes, man, I'm a long haul trucker. I'm tired. I've seen the country 5 times. I want to be home. I don't blame him. Sounds exhausting. He said, but my wife always wanted to go to some place called Bora Bora. You know, Bora Bora is like Hawaii with the volume turned up. And I was like, that's amazing. I said, well, I haven't even been there. I said, what's kept you from going to Bora Bora with your wife? He goes, man, we looked into it, but it's so expensive. You come back Bora Bora, right? I was like, yeah, you sure can, right? So here's where the dream begins if you have an ownership. The first thing is this. The money you've been spending on travel for a lot of people gets you this for your accommodations. If you take that budget, put it toward ownership instead, you get this everywhere you go. If you want a big multi-bedroom, no problem. If you want a 1-bedroom, that's great too. When you check in, it's home away from home. You've got living rooms, as many bedrooms as you need. You have kitchens. I want to be real clear with you. When I got into this world, I didn't think the kitchen would help us because we eat out all the time. When we're traveling, we just eat out. I was like, okay, nice to have, won't use it. Well, for a couple of years, we really didn't use it. But listen, I have a restaurant problem. Every restaurant I go into, I act like I'm never going to be in a restaurant again. I order the left half of the menu. So after a couple of days of that, I'm not feeling great, but we spend a fortune, right? So after a couple of years, it dawned on us. We have a kitchen everywhere we go, and instead we complain about how much money we're spending eating out. So eventually it clicked, right? I will tell you on rainy days, for example, have you ever had a day on vacation where you're gone all day, and it's fun. I mean, you're having the time of your life, but now, man, it's 6:30, you've showered, you're tired, and going out sounded great in the morning, but right now it doesn't. It's convenient, saves you money. Use that money how you want. We have this covered, so we use the money savings for flights. It's up to you. Second big reason people love ownership, front row access everywhere you go. Now, y'all, my first career, I was a teacher and a high school head coach. And I loved it. I had a blast. But let me tell you, when I was in my 20s, me and a bunch of other broke 20-somethings, we would drive down to Destin, Florida in the summer for a beach trip. But we were all broke. So to make it work, we would have 5 or 6 people in a car, all of us in one hotel room, and we would stay blocks or miles from the beach to make it cheaper. Do you think we had fun? Yeah, we were in our 20s. You can't not have fun. Do you think it got old having that many people in one room pretty quick? It sure did. Now, we all know how fast life goes by. Decades have gone by, and I kind of laugh at my former self because I never thought I'd be front row guy. I used to walk by these and listen, money was so tight for me for decades. I was in Hawaii once. Walked by a resort, and it looked amazing. You're going to see a picture of it coming up. I would look at resorts, they would look amazing, and because teachers, I don't shop for Rolexes when you're a teacher. Why even tease yourself with that? I knew I couldn't afford that. Well, I didn't go to resorts and how do I stay here? Because to me, I knew I couldn't afford it. Why tease yourself? I just didn't do it. I knew of timeshare. I didn't know really anything more about it until 9 years ago. So I'm the guy now who stays front row, be it to the beach, to the mountains, to the big city amenities. And at the end of the day, or the middle of the day, whenever you need a break, here's your unit again. It's home away from home. If you want to go down to Orlando, a lot of people love that. Kids, of course, tend to more than adults. Well, when you need a break, you get a little hangry, here's where you're staying. And this place the adults probably enjoy as much as the kids, and the kids will love this. Go north, New York City, front row to Billionaires Row, Central Park. Here's your balcony. Here's your unit. So we get to this point, oftentimes people will say, I just don't think we can afford this. Like me, out of my reach. We're not changing your budget. Usually the money you're already spending covers all of this. You go to a place like Vegas. We have 8 resorts. Our owners have 8 properties to choose from, including one like this. This is my favorite. The Laura, you can see why, built for the view. This is way up, over 50 floors. If you'd rather have a quieter desert experience, Sedona. Anybody been to Sedona? Did you like it?
Loved it.
What time of year did you go?
We got through there a couple times, different times a year, so.
It wasn't in the heat.
Okay. Well, hey, smart people over here. Listen, we asked this question. It's been a couple weeks ago. I asked the question, and usually somebody in the room's been to Sedona. And a guy goes, yeah, we've been there. He goes, man, it was hot. And I'm like, I bet. What time did you go? He goes, 4th of July. And I was like, you went to the desert for the 4th of July. He goes, look, we knew it'd be hot. We just didn't know it'd be that hot. He goes, it's like being in a microwave. I will say I went through there in the summer once. I was surprised how cool it was in the morning. It was in the 60s, but it does heat up tremendously. You go here in the winter, high temps are in the 60s and 70s. You can be as active as you want. Beautiful there in the winter. Now, a poll question for you. If you had to take one type of trip for every vacation you have left, and your only two choices are beach towns or mountain towns, who are my beach people? Beach people know who they are. The hands go up pretty quick. Who are my mountain people? Yeah, I like both. I lean toward mountain towns. This was the first one I went to over 30 years ago. I think you all agree, the more you travel though, you find new favorites, right? And so my favorite mountain town in the U.S. today, hands down, Breckenridge, Colorado. Has anybody been to Breck? If you haven't, listen, I'm truly jealous of you, because you know how it is when you go somewhere really great for the first time, it's the most impactful. This is a 2-hour drive from the Denver airport. Denver is known as the Mile High City, right? This is almost a mile higher than Denver. So if you go in the summer and it's 90, 95 in Denver, it's 68, 72 here, perfect. Mountain Stream right here flows. This is Main Street. These are all your restaurants, art galleries and stuff. That mountain stream flows and roars right behind that. Of course, they all have decks and patios to enjoy the sound and the side of that. If I could hug a TV screen, I'd be hugging that right now. Hawaii, we have 11 properties in Hawaii, so our owners have 11 choices where they want to stay. This is down in Cabo, facing west for a great sunset. This is a swim-up bar if you want to have a milk after your dinner, right? Great times to be had there. Who would go to Italy? Who would go to Italy? If I go, I used to teach history. I love history. I appreciate art. I love when people say they're going to Italy for the history of their art. I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to eat, right? You're going to do those other things, but we're going to eat. Listen, Tuscany, I want to go here for a month, not a week. But listen, I'm going to give you a tip. And you may know about this. You may have known about this place longer than me, but this place just, it's up by the Swiss border. This is the name of the resort, Lake Como. Here's your pool deck, there's your restaurant. Keep in mind, the homes on Lake Como, like George Clooney, the actor, he owns a home here. They're multi-million-dollar homes. If you have an ownership with us, if you know how our ownership works, you're going here at the end of your stay, you're not paying for your lodging. If you've already purchased the ownership, that's covered. You're just paying for your flights, food, and fun. And so let other people pay millions and you guys can go there with your ownership. Have a great trip. Canal Front in Amsterdam, I've not been here yet. I'm looking forward to it. Look at this. Anybody been to the Maldives? I have not been yet. Anybody been?
Next
This makes
year,
me-
hopefully.
Yeah, this makes me tear up. Look at this. Here's your house. Like, who do you want to go here with? This is incredibly peaceful, so choose wisely. Don't take somebody complaining, right? Here's your little outdoor shaded area. This is amazing, yeah. Oh, and in Scotland, I haven't been here yet, but the Highlands are on all those lists of the prettiest places in the world. Y'all, I've spent months of my life in Portugal. It's amazing. If you have any inclination to go, it's on the same peninsula as Spain, has that same old world look. Japan, very trendy these days. Mexico always has its fan base, so does the Caribbean. Listen, we're not suggesting where you go. The whole tourist trail has a hill, right? What we're saying is if you have an ownership, you're going to be able to book front row in probably a roomier place than you otherwise would have for the same money or less, right? And if you want to use our travel agents to do your bookings, they'll book everything for you. It's not just accommodations. They'll book flights, food, and fun as well. Some people like to do their bookings. You can. I don't. I let them do it. It saves me time. And you can call in the middle of a trip, and they'll, of course, correct for you if you want. All right, use your clipboards here, please, and write something down for me. I don't have time to go into this, but you'll want to ask your rep. So write down 3 letters for me, please. Write down H-U-A. H-U-A. In Hilton lingo, we call that HUA. So if you go to a HUA event, and these are the type of things you do while on vacation, you get a badge like this. And if you have this badge, it gives you VIP all access to it. So ask your reps about that. Pretty cool stuff. All right, here's a fun question for you. I'm going to give you a famous travel marketing slogan. Somebody here hopefully can give me the name of the company that uses it. The slogan is, we'll leave the light on for you. Oh, that was quick. Yeah, Motel 6. So Motel 6 opened back in the 1960s. Here's the painful part. They chose the name Motel 6 because back then it was $6 a night for a hotel room. Who believes in inflation? Yeah, it loves us, right? Now, trust me on this. At the time when it was $6 a night, no one knew this was going to happen. But in hindsight, what happened was hotel prices have doubled. Keep this in mind. Hotel prices have doubled approximately every 10 years. So by the 90s, it was about $50 a night. We're talking in tourist towns. Remember Y2K? Right, we're 25 years past that. So Y2K-ish, it doubled to 100 a night, and of course now it's doubled again. So if you try to factor together Hawaii, the expensive place, cheaper places like Branson, Missouri, Gatlinburg, here's where you're at today. A couple $100 plus fees. Now, since we're paying this, we already know this. Why are we talking about it? Well, the frequency of the doubling is the problem. If it's doubling every 10 years, in 10 years, history says you're paying $400 a night. 10 years after that, this is where it gets obscene. $800 a night for a regular hotel room in a typical tourist town. And listen, this is where oftentimes people want to throw eggs and tomatoes at me. I'm like, look, I'm not the one doing it. So inflation is a huge reason why people jump into ownership. If you don't have ownership, those prices that double, you're paying those if you can. We see a good amount of retirees come to town here. When you ask them where they're traveling in retirement, they'll tell you that they're traveling a little bit, but they're not going where they thought they would go because, well, retirement looks the same for all of us. It's a permanent pay cut. And if you take a pay cut and prices keep going up, you're saying goodbye to some things. It might be a new car, it might be the trips. Something's going, and that's why a lot of retirees aren't going where they want to go. The way to get around that is to own and get out of the inflation world. Has anybody been to Hawaii? Perfect. All right, so did you go to Waikiki, Honolulu, Oahu?
Honolulu.
Okay, so yeah, this is Diamond Head. You all may remember this famous place there. Regular hotel room. Look at the nightly rate, and they're paying for a view because the hotel room's a standard room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's expensive, and then you add in your rental fees. Put it all together, it's $850 a night. And keep in mind, it's a few years ago, so it's probably higher than that. Now, in my opinion, the biggest mistake in the travel world, and I say it that way because it's the mistake I made for a long time. You go to a place, you land, you get settled, and you go explore. That's why you went there. A day or two later, these people paying this much per night, and I respect them. That trip means something to them if they're paying that much. They're going to go explore, and they're going to see a resort like this. This is one of our Hawaiian resorts. And they're going to see this. Now, this is where our owners stay. Keep that in mind. And a lot of them are going to think, boy, that looks great. I wish we could afford it, because that's what I thought. If you know anything about how travel ownership works, and I assume you do, I assume you've been on presentations before, you know that you can stay there in places like that, like Lake Como, and at the end of your stay, you're not paying for your lodging at all because you already purchased the ownership, right? So you can stay in great places like this, and you're paying for your flights, food, and fun. If you go somewhere you can drive to, you're not even paying for flights. Now, I had the privilege, y'all, lived on the island of Kauai, Hawaii for 2 years. Amazing, amazing. And talked to tourists a lot. A lot of them knew the island, like the back roads and stuff, better than I did. And I would say, how do you know the island so well if you're just here for a week? And the refrain was always the same. Tom, we've been coming here every year for 16 years, 22 years, 34, whatever. Well, it's expensive. Most of them that said that had ownership, and that's how they could afford it, right? A couple sitting here, when I brought up Kauai, the guy kind of chuckled and chicken winged his wife. Right? So understand that in our travel world, people that have time in Hawaii every year, that's the gold standard because it's a very expensive trip. So that's like the goal, right? So I said to the guy, I said, do you know somebody that has time in Hawaii every year? And again, it was the tone. He's like, yeah, my brother. His brother has 10 weeks a year on that island. Now, that's amazing. 10 weeks a year. But here's the thing. His brother, they purchased 2 weeks or something like that on North Shore, Honolulu Bay. Used it for a few years and realized, hey, if we're going to fly this far, let's stay longer. So they bought more time on the eastern shore in Kapa'a. A few years later, they bought the rest down in a town on the south called Poipu. So at the end of it all, they had 10 weeks. Now, his weeks were all consecutive, too. So he was there. They would fly in. They would stay December, January in its entirety. And then they would head out, and they're not paying for their lodging because when they purchased the ownership, that covered it, right? So that's the thing. And that's pretty cool. Now, I need to be real clear about this. His brother that owned the 10 weeks, he owns a form of timeshare we don't even offer anymore. Because even though it works great for his brother, that system of timeshare failed a lot of people too. It's not flexible. So let's say that man, his brother, has those same 10 weeks. Let's say he gets a new job. And that job doesn't let him disappear for December and January. Well, that old system, he didn't have the ability to say, honey, we're going to go in the summer instead. You're going in December, January, or you're not going. There's exchange companies and trading power and stuff. So ultimately, if you've heard of like timeshare cancellation or timeshare exit companies, the people using those had those old fixed weeks, but it's not working for them anymore. We have a good amount of people that still love their weeks because their life allows it. You know, they don't need more bedrooms than they bought, all that. But for guys like that, you know, he's enjoying it. Other people, it's not. So they want out of that into something more flexible. So today, we don't offer fixed weeks. We have ownership points. Now, the points are super simple. Keep in mind, we're Hilton. We're a big global brand, so we do not have blackout restrictions of any type. Use your points for wherever on the tourist trail you want to go. If you need a 4-bedroom for 1 week and just a studio for another, knock yourself out. They're your points. Use them as you like. So here's how it works. Our owners purchase points once, like buying a car. How often? Once, yeah. Easy stuff. Our system, your points arrive every January 1st. Very easy to remember. Keep in mind, it's true ownership. So if you have points left over at the end of the year, you can use them the next year. If you want to take your points next year and move them into this year, you can will it, but you don't have to. That's your decision. We're trying to come up with a system that is as flexible as renting, with cost certainty of ownership. All you all do is take great trips. Leave the details to us. Now, the maintenance fee, that term, goes all the way back to that flip phone previous era of timeshare. When we pivoted to points to give you more flexibility, that it functionally became an HOA. It does these things. I'm bad at this, so I'm happy if somebody else wants to do my repairs. In my experience, this is the best part right here, the security. Have you all ever checked into a hotel that was not in the best part of town? Like you're opening the curtains at night, checking on your car, right? You know it's a rough neighborhood if the car's knocking on the window saying, "Let me in," right? I've been in those too. Is anybody staying like at the Powhatan Resort here in town? Yeah, okay, so you've got the gated entrance. So there's kind of 3 levels of security, one being the gated entrance. Behind that, you've got full-time security that aren't also working the front desk. But I think the biggest part of the resorts is their size. Like they're so big and so expensive. They don't put them in areas where security is going to be a problem. You put all that together, it's a much more like relaxed, you don't have to worry about stuff that you might elsewhere. That's been my experience. Now, your rep will make you an offer today. Listen, it's just business. Don't take this personally. If your last name was Hilton, I think you'd understand where we're coming from. It doesn't make sense for us to bring people in over and over and over if they're not interested. Right? So if you have interest, we'll throw as much cheese on your Whopper today as we can. Welcome you in. I think if you choose to do it, you'll feel like I did. Either, why did I wait so long? Or, where was this my whole life? But if you don't want to do it, that's why we have a huge hotel division, right? You can keep doing that. Just be real honest with yourself about your ability to keep up with doubling prices so you don't get stuck in that place where a lot of folks are, where they're not traveling where they want to go. All right, my final question for you is this. This is for you to answer to yourself. What was the first trip you ever took? Where'd you go? Who were you with? How old were you, right? So my story, St. Louis, Missouri, none of us had seen the beach, including my parents. So I was about 10, and you may remember this event because it was pretty big news at the time. So we drove down to St. Augustine, Florida. Cool Spanish Fort beaches, right? How excited were we? We were excited, right? 5 of us in one hotel room, which even to the kids, that was great. I was like camping indoors. As an adult, I realized my parents were probably miserable the whole week, right? One morning, my dad wakes me up, and my dad and I, just the 2 of us, my dad and I are on the beach, and the sun's not even like up yet. It's brightening, but it's not up. There's nobody down there. I'm 10-ish. I'm complaining. I'm like, Dad, what are we doing? Like the whole world's asleep but us. Like, why? This isn't fun. Like, what are we doing? And this is the event you might have heard of. He said, well, your mom and sisters wanted the room to themselves to watch Princess Diana get married. The old royal wedding back around 1980, what? And I remember saying to my dad, I'm like, she's not even our princess. Like, why do they care? And he's like, you have a lot to learn. And boy, was he right. I still don't get that, to be honest with you. But that morning worked out phenomenally for me. Here's why. My dad at that stage of my life worked 2 jobs to support us. Amazing provider. But he wasn't home much. I didn't have much time with my dad. Well, that morning on the beach, guess what I had? Like 5 hours with my dad. Who here thinks my dad remembers sunscreen? He did not. I think I was the winner of the most sunburned child in Florida history the next day. But we had fun. And my dad, that was the first day in my life where my dad told me he was proud of me. And I remember that. Like, you know, when you're a little kid, that matters. My dad put his hand on my shoulder and said, I'm proud of you, and I want to tell you why. I remember that whole I had the chills when I was a little kid, because that was awesome, right? My dad's 83 now. When I lose my dad, that will be even more important to me. Later that day, I got in trouble throwing a pizza crust at my sister. I remember everything about the trip. Now, 6 months later-ish, it's Christmas Day. My parents gave it, we didn't have a lot of money. As kids, we didn't know that. They always gave us a good pile of gifts. I loved Christmas as a kid. Still do. You know what I got for Christmas that year? It's not sunscreen. It's not pizza crust. I don't even know what I got. And that's the point. Whatever they gave me, I loved it. I'm sure. Played with it, broke it. It was probably gone by March 1st. I just don't remember it because it's not important. But that doggone trip, you just remember those things. And those are priceless. Just like this family will never forget this. Check this out.
You could go anywhere. Where would you want to go? Why don't we go? Now. Today. I'm being serious.
Where you going?
We're leaving today to go to Disneyland.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking.
Are we going?
Yes, we're going. Are you excited? It's for your birthday. Happy birthday.
It's my birthday today.
No, in a week. I'm crying too.
I'm crying too.
You excited? You getting hugs? We're going when Daddy gets home from work. When Daddy gets home from work. Do a happy dance. Yay! I love you. Okay, bye.
Very cute. Now that little girl's name is Lily. That video's on YouTube. It's titled Lily Goes to Disney. It's old, you can tell. It's 13 years old. That video has been viewed 20 million times. And the only real reason to watch it is to have the joy of watching, their joy. Like my childhood trip, the same as that minus a lot of tears. But super, super cool. Yeah, so listen, all we're saying to you is this. If you have a Hilton ownership in your back pocket, control your costs with the money you have and the money you will have. By controlling the cost of the lodging, you'll be able to get more experiences like this with people that are younger, older, it doesn't matter, right? And that's what matters here. So if having Hilton in your back pocket is going to help you make the rest of your life the best of your life, take us up on it. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it.